Life Audio.
Welcome to But Jesus Drank Wine.
And other stories that kept us stuck. I'm Mead.
And I'm Christy.
In this podcast, we'll explore the stories that kept us, stuck, wanting to drink and not wanting to drink, all at the same time.
Join us as we show you that freedom from alcohol does not have to mean a life sentence of misery and missing out,
but actually means living an authentic life full of peace, joy, and purpose. Hello, we're here.
We're here.
Summer. Hello. We are here. Yes, we are. But what I was going to say is here we are at summer. How in the world did we get to summer?
Oh my gosh, I can't.
And we have survived Maycember.
We have survived Maycember, except for the fact that Maycember in the United Kingdom, if we have any UK listeners, I'm a California girl, but now I live over here for a long time. But our Maycember is June. So I'm heading into Maycember, but it's my June because we break up from summer vacation in July. So blah, 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 blah. So I haven't survived it yet. Thank you for reminding me.
Yeah. So you have had like the unfortunate incident of experiencing Maycember through me.
Twice.
Yep. And now you're heading into June-cember. Good luck to you. I am officially welcoming summer at the close of May, and kids are home, and yeah, we're here for summer. So in thinking about that, this will be let's see, how many summers have I had where I've been free from alcohol? I have to look, this is me. You can't see me.
Counting on your fingers.
I'm counting on my fingers, you guys. It's not that hard. 2020, 2021, 2022, 23, 24. I'm moving into my 6th summer, free from alcohol, zero temptation to drink wine, poolside, rosé all day, none of that. And I'm so excited because the surprise gifts just keep on coming when whatever it is we get to do it from a place of like freedom from alcohol. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. I forgot to tell you this. I meant to send it to you. I took a screen recording of two moms on Instagram. They are sitting in their bathing suits by their pool, and the caption read, "Drinking game. Every time you hear the word mom, take a sip." And they're drinking rosé.
No.
And you hear the kids in the background splashing around in the pool.
No.
Mom. And every single time they hear the word mom, they're drinking and they're laughing about it. And now here's the thing. And if you're new here, you haven't gotten to know us well enough for you to know that like we really do come from a judgment-free zone, because 5-6 years ago, I would have thought that was hilarious. And I would have shared it to all of my best friends. But now I just see that and I'm like, that is so sad. And that is so not what moms who are probably feeling really overwhelmed, especially if you have teenagers too, but littles or teens or however old they are, that's not what you really, really need, right? Like whatever you think that you're getting from that rosé. And for summer, we give so many different jobs, right? It's like joy, it's fun, it's party, it's connection, it's related to survival, all of it. So I think what we want to do today, right, is just talk a little bit about for the women that are starting this for the first time, or maybe not, maybe this is another go at this in the summer. We want to give you some good tools to how to like survive the summer with alcohol. We want to talk about our own experience and so much more. So where do we want to start, babe?
Yeah. So I was thinking that dependent upon your path, it kind of, and I think we should cover both, but like if you are brand new to looking at your relationship to alcohol and you're approaching summer and you're like, great, like this is going to be a really hard time for me to do anything about this. I think there's one path for that. I'd frame the conversation differently for that person than I would the person who's like, okay, like I'm still learning, I'm still practicing like a freedom from alcohol lifestyle. I'm still learning what this looks like. So 2 different paths. So I think we start with the listener that is new to this, because if you're new to this, something that we say all the time, you'll get sick of, get sick of hearing us say this, but it is so key in this, is bringing curiosity to like what your relationship to alcohol looks like. And so if you're approaching summer and you're like, I know alcohol is taking up more space than I want it to. I know there are a lot of things about my summers that I want to change where alcohol isn't so front and center. I would speak to that person from a place of like, this is your time to collect data around what your relationship to alcohol looks like and to be super mindful as you're drinking, as you're experiencing the poolside play dates and the girls' nights out and all of that, bringing curiosity to what your relationship to alcohol looks like, collecting that data because what we're doing is we're trying to, renew our minds on what is true. And we have all of these stories that tell us that alcohol gives us some benefit, that wine helps us relax, it helps us in social, all the things that we, have already. But I would really, the listener that's like been at it for a while, we're going to talk to you differently. And I would say that's when it's like, no, we take it off the table and we collect the data that says this is what summer would look like without alcohol. And so you can kind of decide where you are on that. But for the woman who is brand new to this, I want you to get really, really curious about when are you thinking about alcohol? How much space is alcohol occupying? That
Mhm.
curiosity, that data will serve as we talk about ways to kind of like figure out what those stories are that are keeping you stuck around it.
Yeah. And I think further, like, adding to that, just what are the assumptions that you are having
Yes.
about summer without the rosé or the margaritas or whatever it is? We have so many assumptions of what we think that that's gonna look like and feel like and
Mhm.
be like without ever actually having tried it. And so my assumption about what summer without rosé was gonna look like was that it was gonna be really, really boring, that I was gonna have no fun, and that basically summer was gonna be completely, yeah, ruined. And
Yeah.
it was getting curious about that and going into it with a really experimental mindset because I started my spring. And so, and I say this in my book, there summer deserves a special mention because we are just going to be
Mhm.
totally honest. It's a really hard time of year because of the triggers. Alcohol is everywhere, as you gals know, barbecue, pool parties, all the things Meets just said. And so what are you assuming though if you try this
Yeah.
differently? And and another thing in addition to be curious that we're going to say all the time is just give yourself so much grace and self-compassion to look at this from a lens of
Mhm.
maybe, just maybe. And we never want anyone to believe us or buy in without trying this themselves because you just wouldn't. You have to have that personal experience. But maybe, just maybe, this summer might be the best summer you've ever,
Mhm.
ever had without alcohol. I
Mhm.
remember going on that first trip. We got to go to Zakynthos in Greece. We were with the kids. We were with a couple other families. And it really truly was like a technicolor trip.
Mhm.
I remember the sky being bluer, the water
Yep.
being wonderful, the laughter of the children. It felt so incredible to be present, not to have to think about drinking or recovering from drinking. And it was just one of the best vacations of my whole life. And I never, ever in a million years
Mhm.
thought that that would be possible.
Yes, it's exactly, yeah, so true. I think that mindset when I was stuck in the drinking cycle, I had a mindset of just survival.
Yeah,
Survival of summer, the kids are out, from school and we've got to survive that because it is like listen, like momming is hard. Even
the
like
hardest.
what I mean, even when everything is going well, right? Like momming is hard. And
Yeah.
I didn't realize for so long that it could actually be super enjoyable. It was not about survival. And so even just shifting your mindset to I I get to step into this summer with intention. So much of my life I lived on autopilot in that hustle and like just doing the next thing, moving to this thing, busy, go do all of that. And I didn't realize that I actually could think about, well, how do I want? I could get curious and I could go like, what do I want my summer to look like? It was so focused on survival, which is where alcohol made that really easy opening for being, the thing, quote, air quotes that helped me survive, helped me take that edge off. And so I would just invite the listener to think about what do I want this summer to look like? Set an intention for that. Am I just trying to survive it? or am I trying to like enjoy we have limited summers with our children, by the way. Like I'm
Mhm.
right here with my oldest. She is 17. She's going to be starting her she's officially a senior because she's graduated her junior year. Do you graduate your junior year? She finished her junior year, but whatever. And she's going to be a senior, and I'm very aware of the fact that our summers together are limited. I mean, sure, she'll come home from college and things like that, but those summers are limited. And so that was something that was totally different for me once I found freedom from alcohol. Is like, oh wait, I don't have to just survive. I get to actually set intention around what I want this summer to look like, and I know it has nothing to do with the numbing effects of alcohol anymore. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a really good way to do that, and you can do this in a couple ways. I would think the first thing that you can do, and we're big on journaling here because we really believe that when you are able to put something in black and white on a piece of paper, it allows you to take your thoughts captive, which we talk about all the time. And so if we're talking about setting an intention
Mhm,
for the summer, what do you want to feel like when it's
mhm.
September? Well, you guys in the States go back in like August 1st or something crazy, but like
Yeah,
when you drop those kids back off at school, how do you wanna feel? What was
yeah,
important to you about this summer? Was it rest? Was it having connection with your family? Was it having
yeah,
fun with them? Was it creating memories with them? Or was it just surviving and posting a bunch of pictures on Instagram with rosé? Like, what was important? And we don't say that with judgment, but that was me for a really, really long time.
yep.
And then you can also do this intention work that means talking about if you have a vacation, and perhaps we
Mhm,
should spend a few minutes there too talking about like tools for vacations if this is like you're taking your first vacation alcohol free. But what is important about that vacation to you when you unpack your suitcase and you crawl back into
mhm.
your bed? What was important? Do you say the thing that we've all said a million and one times, and it I need a vacation from my vacation, right?
Yeah,
Or do you feel rested? Do
yeah.
you feel like you connected with your family, and did you have a great time? What is important? Should we spend a few minutes on like tactics and tools for going on your first vacation since so many people will travel this summer?
Sure.
Imagine stepping into a vibrant, welcoming community where faith, friendship, and freedom from alcohol come together. That's exactly what you'll find inside the But Jesus Drank Wine community.
Each week, our members gather for connection calls, a time to share honestly, grow spiritually, and support one another in a warm, grace filled space.
And for women who are already free from alcohol, we offer a monthly connection call just for you, a space to stay grounded in your faith, share your victories, and continue growing in freedom.
With a loving leadership team, a dedicated prayer request board, and connection opportunities across every time zone, you never have to walk this journey alone.
We also offer masterclasses with expert guests, optional book and Bible studies, and so much more to help you grow in your faith and strengthen your sobriety.
For those ready to go even deeper, our small group coaching space, The Missing Piece, offers weekly recorded coaching calls and personalized support for women committed to breaking free from alcohol.
Whether you're sober curious or years alcohol free, if you love Jesus or want to fall in love with him again, you'll feel seen, supported, and strengthened here.
Ready to join the sisterhood? Head over to butjesusdrankwine.com/community or click the link in the show notes to learn more. We can't wait to meet you.
So, as someone that has been living abroad for the last almost 20 years, I really, really believe that alcohol was one of those things that helped the travel process. And so, I can just share my experience really quickly that now doing that alcohol free for the past 5+ years, going back
Mhm,
from London to LA, it just is so much easier, you guys, traveling with kids, all of it,
mhm.
because of the way that alcohol screws up with your cortisol and your rest. And we talk about this all the time, but it just has a very, very dramatic effect on your physical body and your mental health. And so that is something to go into that experimental mindset around is what if the airplane ride or the jet lag or the dealing with
Mhm.
kids and having to stick an iPad in their face because the travel is long actually is easier, not because you turn to numbing out from it, but because you honor what your body and your mind really need. And this is
Yeah.
another question we ask all the time. What do you really need? What is the unmet need that you're looking for in the alcohol? Maybe it's a glass of water. Maybe it's some protein. Maybe it's rest. Maybe it's a chat with your best friend or your husband or opening up your Bible or turning on worship music. But what is it that you really need during that trip? Because as someone that drank for very many years on
Mhm.
very many airplanes, it's not alcohol.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think at the end of the summer or after you've unpacked from your vacation, for you to say to ask the question, what would have to be true about my summer or about my vacation for me to be able to say, yes, like that is how I wanted to live that summer, how I wanted to be showing up that summer, how I wanted to live on that vacation, what I wanted to do on that vacation. What would have to be true? What would that have to look like for you to be like, okay, yes, that was I set an intention around this. That is what it looked like. And I feel really good about that. And I want more of that because that curiosity around that helps us set the focus for what we want it to be. And we can tell you until we're blue in the face that life truly is better without alcohol. Like never once have I regretted, taking this journey and finding freedom from alcohol because life truly is that much better without it. Um, but if you're starting this and you don't know that, think about I have all these years. I had 25-ish 25-year-ish drinking career, if you will, as a gray area drinker. And I knew what summer looked like with alcohol. I knew what vacation looked like with alcohol. Vacation was never vacation. It was a relocation. And I came back more exhausted and more worn out than I was before. Summer was largely the same thing. But what what do what does it look like to do it differently? I have all this data that says I know what it looks like to involve alcohol. So if you're that woman that's like, I've tried this and I've been doing this journey, I really encourage you to start to approach summer or vacation with you know what? I'm going to go into this and then collect that data that says this is what it will look like without alcohol. Try it that way. And then you can compare the data to what it does look like with alcohol. You can always go back to, like you could do next summer with alcohol if you wanted.
Mhm.
If you decide like at the end of the summer, but give yourself that chance to grab that experiential knowledge that says either yes, this is great or no, it's not. But the mindset piece of that is going to be so key because like we started with in the beginning of the episode, like if you're making these assumptions about how awful it's going to be, then that is what you're going to find. But if you go into it with that experimental mindset and say, you know what? I have the data that says what summer and vacation look like with alcohol. I'm just going to be open to the possibility that it could be different, like you said, Christy. And I'm going to collect that data. I'm going to go through this and make it a little cheesy little scavenger hunt. I'm going to look for all the things that I get to do that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to do if I had been drinking, the things that I would have missed. That is the thing that I am so utterly aware of on this side of alcohol. How many things was God trying to show me, give me, reveal to me that
Mhm.
I was missing time and time? How many gifts, how many treasures He had for me in these experiences of motherhood and friendships and all in my marriage and all of this stuff that I was missing because I was just in that survival mode and wine was taking up so much space. So yeah, going into it with that mindset of I'm going to collect that data, I'm going to see what this looks like and look for those places where God is like, "Hey, you're awake and you're paying attention and you're sober minded and you're here. Look what I have for you in the sunset, in the sand, in the blue sky." I love a sunset, I love a sunrise, y'all. I do. I really really do. And that was something that I was like, gosh, I'm so old and lame that I'm really geeking out on my sunsets over the ocean. But y'all, there is nothing like it when you are fully present, your kids are playing, and there's just it that is where you get to see that tangible proof of God's presence with you. And there's nothing else in the world that can replace that feeling or top that feeling.
Yeah.
I just got
Yeah.
really tangenty. Sorry, babe.
No, 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 no. That was so good. That was so, so good. And you reminded me of one of the first times I went back to LA and my kids did a beach camp growing up every single year. And every single year the camp has a different colored t-shirt with a different color, a different kind of fish or sea animal. And so like they start as like, minnows or something, and then they're sharks and turtles and all the things. But I remember going back alcohol free and being on that beach and like, not going to cry, looking at the rainbow of like kids
Mhm.
running to the water and just remembering that like I had missed a lot of that. I missed a lot of those
Mm.
stages because I had been drinking. And but now I have the opportunity and the invitation to be present going forward. And I just
Mhm.
want to say that if you are in this place and you're looking at your first sunset and it doesn't feel like me just described it, to keep going. And we have a whole episode on this and I can't remember where it is, but I think it's called Breaking Free versus Being Free or something like that. That this takes a little bit of time for
Mhm.
everything to start feeling technicolor and feeling like you are present and fully experiencing it and feeling
Yes.
so good, and your cortisol regulates and your sleep starts to,
Here.
sleep again.
And your
And you
dopamine
feel,
rebalances. Yes. Yep.
yeah, all of that good stuff. Just stick with it, because once you do start feeling better, once you do have that data of, oh my gosh, this is what it feels like to be alcohol free, then you get the opportunity to chase after that feeling and have more of that. And the
Mhm.
best part of all of it is then you get to reconnect with God or get closer to him or bring him in a
Yeah.
bigger, better, different, more tangible, whatever it is, way. And then that is when your life starts to change, right?
Yeah. So, oh, it's so true. And I think it's important to for the listener who is like, yes, okay, I'm open to seeing if that's possible. And yes, I'm gonna pay attention to that. And I'm excited. I even maybe have this little bit of excitement at thinking about that. But I'm also faced with that reality that there is maybe some regret, because that's what I know. When I started my journey, it was like, okay, now I'm aware of this. I'm aware of how much space it's taking up. I'm aware of how where it has gotten in the way of so many things. And this is the thing, like in my social group, I probably drank less than most people. It didn't look like I was, excessively drinking or had a quote unquote drinking problem at all. It's just the mental real estate that was occupied by planning, thinking about prepping for, recovering from wine just slowly began taking up more and more space. And then once I got to that place of awareness, like Christy, you were talking about the other day, that nudge from the Holy Spirit, like it's time. It's time to put this thing down, or like the shaking the shoulders. Sister, put down the wine. I have so much more for you.
Mhm.
Coming to that place was both exciting and also hard for that part of that regret that came with, like, gosh, I was doing it that way. And so that's where
Yeah.
we see you, we hear you, we're with you. We've been there. We've coached, had the honor and privilege of coaching thousands of women and some men too, kind of through that, honoring that, and also going, okay, like you said, it doesn't have to be like that. I'm stepping forward in a new way, and it can be different. I'm open to seeing what is different in that, and that's what we get to do, and that's what's really cool. Like, this is not something we have to do. We didn't have a rock bottom. We weren't forced to head to rehab and do all of this, which I thought was the only way. Like, we get to choose a new way of living when we are free from this thing that we're chasing to meet
Mhm.
our needs,
Mhm.
and it's not delivering. It's temporary at best, but it's not going to truly satisfy. So yeah, we start chasing after the sunsets and what the Lord has for us in a new, exciting, different way. That's where the regret ends up shifting to, like, okay, because hello, Jesus can resurrect anything. Jesus redeems and resurrects and restores. And that is possible for you as well, wherever that regret may be.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so, so good. Let's talk a minute to the listener who might be thinking, okay, I just found you gals for the first time, but I'm definitely not starting this in summer. I'm definitely going to wait till
Mhm.
September because we hear this all the time. It's the biggest, it's our
Yeah.
biggest influx
Mhm.
of people that are contacting us, joining the community, doing one of our 40-day fasts. We normally see them in September or January. And so let's talk to that gal for a second. And what I would love to say to you, if this is what you're thinking is,
Mhm.
putting this on the back burner until the kids are back in school is number 1, there's always gonna be something.
Yes.
There's always gonna be another party. There's always already gonna be there's always gonna be another 40th or 50th birthday party. There's always gonna be another wedding or event or vacation or
Mhm.
holiday or something that is going to come up. And if you go into this with the mindset of what if this is different, but not only different, but better, and that
Yes.
experimental mindset that we keep talking about, you don't have to stay stuck. If you're a gal that's
Mhm.
listening to this right now and you're like, "No, I feel really stuck. I recognize this is the thing." Why go one more day in that stuckness when you do not have to? Neither of us
Yes.
started our journeys on a January 1 or a September 1 or
Mhm.
whatever date. It was a date that was meaningful and all that to both of us, but you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait for it to get worse. You
Yes.
definitely have to like wait for a rock bottom. We have gals in our community team, sorry, in our community and on our leadership team that have gotten to that point and have given their beautiful testimonies on this very podcast. But you don't have to wait for it to get that bad. You really, really don't. It
Yep.
doesn't matter how much you're drinking. We have spoken to women that have had, are drinking once or twice a week, and they
Mhm.
just know that there's God has more for them. And so you do not have to wait. You don't have to stay stuck for one more day. And the other side, wait, I'm just gonna finish this one.
I'm trying. I'm
And
trying to get in there, girls. I'm
sorry,
trying.
I'm sorry, I'm sorry,
I'm
I'm
just
sorry.
kidding.
And now I lost
I
it.
know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, babe.
Okay, go ahead.
I was just like thinking, I'm like, yes, we have talked to so many people. And I was that person, y'all. I was that person because it was November that I was like, no, for real. I'm ready to do something about this.
Yeah.
And I don't know what it is, but like I'm ready. And that's when I found the methodology that I found that helped me change my thinking, realizing that like I actually had some power, some choice in this, that I could look at what my thinking was telling me and how that was, influencing my actions and my behaviors. And so I started my journey right at the beginning of November. And my last sip of alcohol was December, I think it's first or second. I don't even totally December 1st or 2nd, 2019. But when I at the beginning of November, when I was thinking about, I'm like, I want to do something about this. I've got Thanksgiving, I've got
Yeah.
Christmas, I've got Christmas
Yeah.
brunches, Christmas parties, I've got New Year's Eve, I've got Thanksgiving and the family and all. No, like this is so stupid. I'm going to put this off. But you know what? The Lord came and delivered this methodology like on my doorstep because I was like, I would like to do something about this. I don't want to have another Thanksgiving, another Christmas that I wake up from and go in January and start the January 1 like cleanse, like trying to white knuckle my way through taking a break from drinking. And what was really great about that is I went through the holidays, I went through the holiday season without a single temptation to drink alcohol. I did all the parties, I
Mhm.
did all the things. And I say that as encouragement because what that did is I really feel like that like accelerated and solidified my freedom, that I got that massive experiential
Yeah.
knowledge right out of the gates. So
Yeah.
if you're someone who wants to put that off until September, let me just tell you, summer is a great opportunity to build massive deposits in that like freedom from alcohol space
Yeah.
because of the vacations, the summer, all of that. We can know something in our head is true. We can learn all of the stuff, but until we experience it for ourselves as really true, it doesn't feel true. It doesn't have that like impact until we like know it in our bones. And that is what I got to experience that first holiday season. I mean, 25 years of being a regular drinker, a gray area drinker, and I did that first. I did that whole holiday season without alcohol, and it was not hard. Not I can't promise it's not gonna be hard for you. I can't promise you will also have no temptation to drink, but what I can say is if you're coming at this with that kind of curiosity and you don't just keep kicking the can down the road like I did so many years prior to that, it could be different and greatly different faster. On the flip side, you do summer like you've always done it, you're gonna have more well-worn old pathways that aren't serving you. You're just creating more deposits in the wrong direction. And so, yeah, there will always be excuses or it's not the right time. Don't listen to that. Wouldn't the enemy love for you to spend more time stuck and
Mhm.
further away from God? I mean, truly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's so, so good. Yeah. I love everything that you just said. And I think that when you do start this in summer, and I think the holiday period, December, is similar, you're exposed to so many different
Hmm.
ways of alcohol being in your face that, as me just said, you get the practice, right? And
Yes.
so I think so many of us think that like you need to buckle down and have some time. And that sometimes for some people that is totally true. Part of the
Totally.
reason that my alcohol freedom story went the way it did is because I was able to do it during COVID where I could just like hide away. However, then going to a party for the first time or going to the pool for the first time is a completely different scenario that you have absolutely no experience or practice at. And so this just gives you that opportunity to practice.
Mm.
Again, I know we've said it a million times, but go into it with an experimental mindset. I
Yes.
actually think summer can be a really ideal time to start this because you're
Hmm.
not in a regular routine. And so
Hmm.
you can honor that need of maybe you do need more rest. Maybe you can go to bed early because you're not helping kids with homework, or you can have a little bit of a lion, as they say over here in the UK. You can sleep in a little bit and you're not in that get to school routine. And so you're able to take care of yourself. You're able to be outside, which is also amazing because
Huge.
I have a whole section in the 40-day fast book about joyful movement. It was such a big part of my beginning of my story. And that just means getting outside and walking and being in the sunshine is so beneficial for dopamine, all of the things, serotonin, all of it. And so you're able to do that in the summer, right? We've
Hmm.
talked to women where in the winter this is hard because it's like gray outside and they're feeling gray inside. They're hard. But summer in the summer, you get to be outside. You get to joyfully move your body outside. And so I think also for those reasons, this can be a really, really beautiful, beautiful time to start this.
Yeah.
And you don't even have to commit to a full summer. You don't have to. We always say over and over, this is not something that you even have to say forever or give a
Hmm.
deadline, timeline, whatever you want. This is something where you can go into this summer and say, I'm going to do my very first vacation alcohol free, or I'm going
Hmm.
to do my very first 4th of July alcohol free, or I'm going to do my very first boat trip, or whatever it is, cabin, lake, all these things that I'm talking to gals
Poolside
about.
hang.
Poolside
Just
hang barbecue. I can do
yeah.
my first one. I'm just gonna try it. I'm
One.
gonna remember these two crazy blondes in my head, and I'm gonna go into this with an experimental mindset, getting really curious, getting really, really curious. And
Hmm.
and the other thing that I think is so important to point out is if you're trying this for the first time in the summer and you're in a group situation, to really, really remind yourself that the first 10 to 15 minutes of not having the drink in your hand is always going to feel awkward because it's only because you haven't done it before.
Yes.
It's only because you haven't done it before. This is where mocktails can, if they serve you, be your best friend. You can hold that alcohol-free Corona. By the way, the alcohol-free Coronas taste exactly like the other Coronas. They fill you up really fast.
And join us in the community where every
Oh, yeah.
Wednesday, Sam on our leadership team brings us the latest and greatest and best
Yes.
mocktail ideas, which is so fun.
Yes.
It always makes me so like, yeah, excited.
Yeah, such a good shout. And so plan ahead if you're going to these events or
Mhm.
parties or vacations or whatever you're doing. Plan ahead, bring your own stuff. By the way, side note, Carter just asked me, what are you most excited? What are the most what are the most food excitement that you're having about going back to California for the summer? And I'm like, oh, I cannot wait for Topo Chico because you guys, we do not have Topo Chico in the UK, and the bubbles here are not as aggressive. And I need aggressive bubbles in my sparkling water. Okay, I
She
digress.
is banging her desk. She's very passionate about the bubbles
We
or
need
what
Topo Chico. Topo Chico, if you're listening, please come and sponsor this podcast.
you call it Topo. Is it Topo Chico or is it
What do you call it?
I know. This is what I'm real curious. Can someone set us straight? I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm probably I don't know. And
We're
maybe
gonna
it's
get
like
sued by
tomato
Pepsi
tomato.
Cola.
Is that who makes it?
Yeah, they
Oh,
bought it.
okay. Okay.
I know way
Well,
too much about Topo Chico. I know way too much because I love it so much.
Topo Chico is
Okay,
what I
Topo Chico,
say.
whatever, whatever.
I don't
You
know. I
can
don't know. I
make
don't know.
you can make ranch water, you guys, without tequila, and it tastes just
Yes.
as good, and it won't make you hate yourself.
Okay. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Facts. These are
Wait, where was I?
facts.
Where was I? Oh, mocktails in the community every Wednesday. Yes. And so, yes, it's going to feel awkward, but do
Mhm.
not worry. The other thing to mention here is that you might think that other people are concerned with the fact that you are not drinking, and that is just not true. And if anybody says anything to you about the fact that you're not drinking, remember what we're going to tell you right now. You are holding up a mirror to that girlfriend or whoever is going to say something to you about not having the rosé. And what they are thinking, and I can say this is true because I've been on both sides of this scenario, they
Same.
are worried that if you are not drinking the rosé or the margarita or whatever it is, that means that they also have to take a break, that means that they also have a quote unquote problem. And
Mhm.
that means they have to do all of these things, label themselves an alcoholic, go to meetings for the rest of their life, be miserable and missing out. We're here to tell you today, ladies, that that is untrue. And so don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You are holding up a mirror to them. And everybody else isn't actually concerned with your drinking because they're trying to make sure their kids are not drowning in the pool.
And there you have it, friends. There you have it. Oh my gosh, so good. I just want to add to the conversation the importance of whatever you choose for this summer, celebrating that you are here, paying attention. Like it's not by coincidence or by accident that you are thinking about your summer and thinking about your vacations and thinking about where alcohol fits. It's not a coincidence that maybe you found this podcast. It's
Yes. So
like
good.
there are so many of us having these conversations that we're like, who knew that
Yes.
you could do life this way and actually it be a million times better than the way I was doing. I just didn't know. Who knew? I didn't know. And I was afraid to try. But I just want to celebrate where you are with this right now. If you're listening to this and as you think about your summer, like set that intention, make that commitment. Like I'm either going to go into this summer, I'm going to be mindful of my drinking. I'm going to collect that data that says, okay, this is what, my patterns look like. This is what does drinking really, is it really fun? Well, I'm going to, I'm going to be mindful and I'm going to drink. Is this really fun? I don't know. Be curious. Or the other path of like, I'm taking it off the table for the summer or just the pool party or just the vacation or whatever little amount of time or big amount of time you want to commit to. I just want to celebrate that you are starting. This is like the
Yeah.
hardest part of the work. It's 80% of it is like starting this. And
Yes.
so
So true.
you've already won. You're already successful because you
Yeah.
are paying attention to this. You're not ignoring it anymore. You're not avoiding it. Whatever prompted you to be here, to listen to this, to push play on this, to think about where alcohol is taking up too much space for you, keep leaning into that. And we celebrate where you are on your journey. And we are here. Obviously, you can join us in the community. We're here, and we just celebrate that you are no longer willing to stay stuck. You're making those first kind of steps out of stuck, and we're so glad that we get to guide you through it. Shall we wrap with a Tiny Tina?
For the newbies here that are new to us, Mead came up with this beautiful way that we wrap every single episode, and that is with a Tiny Tina. Do you want to explain what a Tiny Tina is?
Okay, your girl loves an acronym, and
Oh, yeah.
I will
By the way, we forgot to tell you that if you come hang out with us, you have to speak a new language. No, I'm just kidding.
I will acronymize, is that a word?
I don't know.
Anything and everything, y'all. I love an acronym. And so something that I in my coaching practice early on, I realized that like we could be taking in, we're stuck consuming alcohol. It's taking up too much space. Then we move to awareness and then we're like starting to consume something else. We're consuming information. But if we don't do something with this information, that we're not actually making change. And so we've just talked at you for, I don't even know how many minutes. I don't have the minute counter. Christy's in charge of all the technical things. But um, we've been talking at you and you can take this in, you can consume it. But if you don't take new action from it, it's just there. It's not doing anything. And so we like to empower and encourage our clients and our listeners with one little tiny new action, Tina, Tina, tiny new action that you can take from this. So something you've heard, something that stood out to you, you can come up with your own tiny Tina, but we encourage you to commit to taking one tiny new action from this episode, from every episode. And Christy has one queued up, ready to go to share with you if you would like a suggestion.
Yeah, I didn't actually even have this queued up, but as you were speaking, I'm like, this is a really good one for today. So, in the Love Life Sober 40-Day Fast book, in day 12, I talk a little bit about summer in here, but the point of the chapter is all about triggers, and so you don't have to get the book to do this, but the exercise at the end, the Tina at the end, is to list out all the triggers, and this is so good for summer because summer ticks all the boxes when it comes to triggers. There are emotional triggers because we want to relax and we want to connect. There is environmental triggers because it's literally at the beach and it's at the parties and it's at the barbecue and all this. There's exposure triggers because people are handing us the rosé all the time. And there's the temporal triggers of just it being summer. And so go through and think of every single time that you may be triggered to have wine this tomorrow or this week or however you want to do it. Write it down, figure out what you really want in that moment, and then write a new action. So if somebody hands you a glass of rosé at a barbecue, already have the plan in place. What are you going to do? Are you going to ask for a Topo Topo Chico? Are you going to make sure that you brought your own stuff? Like, what are you going to do? Have it there in black and white so that when the actual trigger is presented to you, you already know what you're going to do. And so that can be a really good, I think, tiny Tina to end us today.
I think it's brilliant. I love it so much. And I hope people will reach out and like let us know what they're finding. I think that would be really cool too. Like as you're going through the summer, what are you discovering? This is something that you'll hear ad nauseum too. Like this is not, I don't believe that this is a recovery journey by any means. Like that just even word just never sat right with me. This is a discovery journey. We get to discover what is possible when we're not turning to wine for all the things, and what is possible when when space is created. Like it's the greatest time hack to be free from alcohol when it's no longer taking up all of that mental real estate and all the things. Let us know what you're finding, what you're discovering. This is a discovery journey. It's so fun. It really is.
It is. And if anything that we said today piques your interest, please drop us a note. We put everything, all the ways to contact us in the show notes. The best one is just to hop into our community and start connecting with our incredible team. And we love you and we are praying for you. And we are so excited for this new chapter of the But Jesus Drank Wine podcast with live audio. We're excited to be here. We're excited to get to know some new people. And yeah, we will see you next Monday. Thank you for being here.
Bye, friends.
Before we go, if you're craving real connection and want to talk more about what we've shared today, come join us in the BJDW community. It's where these conversations continue, and we'd love to welcome you in.
You can find all of our podcast episodes at butjesusdrankwine.com. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at butjesusdrankwine.
Take a screenshot of this episode and share it with a friend or two.
Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you love what we're doing, we'd be so grateful if you left a review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify.
Your reviews help more women who feel stuck and alone in the overdrinking cycle find the hope and encouragement they've been praying for.
Finally, we'd love to shout out the incredible team at Life Audio for their partnership with us at the But Jesus Drank Wine podcast. We invite you, dear listener, to visit lifeaudio.com, where you will find dozens of other faith-centered podcasts in the Life Audio network. Shows about prayer, Bible study, Christian parenting, and more.
Thanks, friend. We appreciate you so much, and we'll see you next week.